Hey guys, welcome to my channel everyone, and thank you so much for watching. So we all saw the episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac and the crap that went down. First with Mia, who came gun blazing at Wendy in what looked very much like a planned attack between Mia, Giselle, and Robin. And then Robin, who basically decided that, oh, this is interesting, and then brought out her phone and started recording the situation while antagonizing Wendy and telling Wendy you either fight or you don't, while in the same breath accusing Wendy of antagonizing Mia. Like, make that make sense to me. So as soon as the episode aired, the audience, who clearly and with good reasons too, did not take too kindly to Mia's actions, and they started bombarding her socials with all kinds of comments. It got too much for Mia that she actually deactivated her Twitter, and then she went on her Instagram and she limited the comments on her Instagram. Like, she got thousands of comments from people just trashing her actions or whatever. I also noticed that Robin did the same thing, but Giselle just left her social media. Like, nobody checks for Giselle anyway, so who cares? There were a few comments being critical of her behavior, but that's about it. On a good day, she doesn't get comments, so who cares? Nobody even know how to go and look for Giselle's social media. That's how boring her social media is. So anyways, like I said, Mia deactivated her social media and then reactivated her social media to say this. So she wrote, reactivated to say, my actions towards Wendy was intolerable. It's unfortunate that you all will attack my family, friends, and my businesses based on an edited TV show. While I was committed to drama and entertainment, I must do what's best for my brand and partners. Much love, Mia. So when she said this, it didn't sit well with a lot of people, and it left a lot of people with more questions than answers. There were people who were wondering, is this her way of saying that she's leaving the show because she says she must do what's good for her brand? And then there were others who were wondering, like, where's the apology? Where is the apology, Mia? This is not an apology. This is a cop-out. We don't get it. We don't accept this. So anyway, she came back again. She wasn't done. She came back after listening to people dragging her for her non-apology. She came back and she said, I take full accountability. I was wrong. No one deserved to be treated with disrespect. I'm sorry I let you all down. And that was when she deactivated and she was gone. And so people are like, are you really sorry? Myself included. Are you really sorry, Mia? Or are you just sorry that you did not get the desired response? If everyone had applauded you, if the whole situation had remained the same, and everyone had applauded you for what you did to Wendy, would you still look at that episode and say, gosh, what I did to Wendy was wrong? Wendy did not deserve the disrespect. I am sorry, Wendy, blah, 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 blah. Would you do that, or are you just sorry that the response from the audience, from the viewers, is less than kind on you? And let me say this, I don't think it's fair for people to go after her family, her business, and her friends. It's just not right, guys. Don't do that. That's not right. Those people did not sign up to be put in that situation. So respect them. Like, if you have something against Mia's actions, just limit your conversations and your reaction to Mia. She's the one who did something, not her family, not her friend, not her businesses. So people, let's just remember that. But back to Mia. There is something in her first non-apology. She said she was put on a show. That is so textbook reaction, textbook excuse from people who do bad things on TV and then cop out by saying, oh, I was just trying to put on a show for you guys, blah, 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 blah. No. That's not what people sign up for, as you can clearly see. If this was what the majority of people wanted, they will be applauding you for your Oscar-winning performance but they are not smiling. They don't think it's funny for you to antagonize and attack and bully somebody. It's just not okay. And she did nothing. Nothing happened that day in that scene that warranted the blowout that Mia did. Nothing. And for Giselle and Robin to immediately after she broke her nails and started bleeding based on her own actions, they ran after her to comfort her, to make sure that she was okay. And then they left Wendy sitting there all by herself. And yet people have the audacity online to say, oh, Wendy should not have continued cursing on her. But Wendy had no one. She was alone. Wendy was alone. She had no one. No one came to her defense. No one even had her back on that table. So she was basically in the mind frame of, well, if these people are not going to have my back, I am going to have my own back, because they are already in the process of icing me out. I don't know if I will ever get a chance to actually give them a piece of my mind. And so she kept going. And she has every reason to keep going. You don't attack people and then monitor how, or try to control how they are going to respond after you have attacked them, especially when nobody had her back. No one had her back. No one. The only person who even came to try and check up on her was surprisingly Ashley. So you attack someone, you throw your bag and you throw water at somebody, and then in the process of you attacking somebody, you broke your nails and then made yourself bleed, and then you're still blaming the person that you were attacking. Oh my gosh, the privilege of it all. I cannot relate, honestly. So that was very, very telling to me, because Wendy had no one there, and it just made me sad. The whole situation was just so dark and so toxic. It was just weird, and I don't like the direction the show is going. I hope that the producers will really, really reel it back, because this was dark. People go on this show, people watch this show, I mean to say, for the entertainment, but there was nothing entertaining about what we all saw last week. There was absolutely no. It was bullying, it was antagonizing, it was sad, it was gaslighting. Robin, how are you antagonizing Wendy? You're pulling out your phone and you're telling Wendy you either fight or you don't, and yet you are accusing Wendy of antagonizing Mia. What exactly did she do that was antagonistic? What was it? Did you just learn that word and you decided to use it? Like, it does not make any sense. And when the audience said they wanted you to bring more to the show, I don't think this was what they were asking for, Robin. Nobody was asking for this side of you. This is nasty. You are nasty, okay? You are nasty. Oh my goodness. This is sad. I can't. The show, usually after every season, I will oftentimes go back and watch from the beginning. Season 7 is one season that I will not be doing that, because no. It has been so dark and so morbid. It's so insidious. It's like every given time I am waiting for the next shoe to drop. I'm waiting for the next bad thing to happen on a freaking reality show. Like, oh my God. It's like I'm sitting here waiting for the next bad. It's like I'm watching a horror show, and I know, because I can feel the energy and everything. Like, I know that something bad is about to happen, and so I'm just waiting for it to happen. No, this is not why people watch reality show. Reality show is supposed to be a show where, people fight. They have this little tips up and down, argument or whatever, and then they come back together and they resolve things. But Giselle and Robin have been unable to move past the dragging of the season that Wendy gave them. But it's okay for you guys to drag people season after season, and the first time that somebody fights back, you can't handle it. It's like you can dish it, but you can't take it. It's crazy to me. It's the height of hypocrisy. Those two are so hypocritical, and it is just sad. And I just really wonder, like, maybe Wendy's right. Maybe what's happening to you while your life is like that is your karma. Maybe that's why you guys are so upset, because she hit the nail on the head. And for the people saying that Wendy is not fit for the show, I cannot disagree more, because at the end of the day, we cannot just have reality shows with people acting ratchet and acting weird or whatever. We can have that. We have to have a good balance of intellectuals. We have to have a good balance of hardworking people, driven people, people who actually earn their keep. Not people who fell ass first and then came into money on account of marrying into money or whatever, or being a gold digger, or being like a home wrecker like Mia. We want to see people who work for their keep. We want to see people who earn their money, who've earned their space in society. So for anybody to say, oh, John Hopkins is going to fire Wendy, or Wendy is too much for the show, I don't think so. If Wendy at any point in time decide that the show is no longer what she bargained for, then she's free to leave. But for you to punish Wendy, because remember, she was the one that was assaulted on the show. So for you to punish Wendy for being assaulted on the show is just not fair. It's just not fair. You should not punish somebody after they had been assaulted and they did nothing wrong, and they still try to keep their head high in spite of all the antagonistic actions leveled against them. So I don't think it's fair for you to say, oh, Wendy needs to go because she's not a good fit for the show. Or maybe the disclaimer at the end of the episode when they said something about John Hopkins does not promote violence or whatever, or is not affiliated with a reality show. I can't remember how it was worded, but that's just a disclaimer. That's just what they do when they're trying to cover their asses, and they're trying to see the energy. They want to see how people are receiving it and who people are going to blame. Because remember, no matter what happens in this life, the majority, the public opinions is what sways decision. That's how it is. So they just use that, to kind of cover their asses and to see how everything happens, to see the direction of the public, and if they're going to ask for Wendy to be fired or whatever. Do you understand? So people are making a bigger deal of that disclaimer at the end of that episode than it actually is. People are making a bigger deal of it, and it's really sad. But yeah, Wendy did nothing wrong. If Wendy chooses to come back to the show, she should be allowed to come back to the show, because you can't punish somebody for being attacked. That's just not fair. It's just not right. I know life is not fair, but that is just the height of unfairness. Like, who does that help? And again, if we have all these ratchet people who fell into money by mistakes or married into money, people who are ratchet, if we have only that as a representation of our society, then people are going to have a wrong impression of the society. So Wendy is a good balance on the show. She is a good balance on the show, and she should be allowed to stay. The whole thing is just so sad. The show has gotten so dark for me that I don't enjoy it anymore. Remember how 2 seasons ago when Monique did what she did, and all of a sudden Giselle is now running around with this big ass security guy. So, but to see her flip, because you hate Wendy so much and you want Wendy out of the show so badly that you will side with somebody that is obviously doing something wrong. And it's so interesting. Like, if you go back and look at the very moment that Mia spilled that drink on Wendy, Giselle, her first reaction, she was taken aback by it. She was kind of shocked. It was kind of like, what did you do that for? But then she quickly realized that, oh, the drink was tossed at Wendy and we don't like Wendy. And all of a sudden, she had to reprogram herself and started defending Mia. So it was such a dark episode. I don't know if I can ever enjoy the season. I don't know what more they have in stock for us. I don't know what they plan to do next to Wendy. And because Wendy said, I remember when she did the interview with Carlos King, and she basically said that what Robin did to her by not inviting her and her children to the quote-unquote family fun time, whatever, that was the icing on the cake. So we have seen something now that really tells us that Wendy was not lying when she said that. So going forward, there's still a number of episodes before the reunion. I am not even sure what the hell we are to be expecting as the season progresses. I'm not even sure. And let's not even get me started with Peter Thomas. Peter Thomas is trash. The way he did what he did, Peter is trash. Okay? You're supposed to know how to have people skills. You do not go around tattling to somebody who is obviously looking for something to make herself more interesting on the show. And so obviously you guys have had conversations that could have told you that Mia was going to use whatever piece of information you gave her about Wendy. She was going to bring it to the table and try to use it to gain some kind of cheap points. You should have already known that. That is where emotional intelligence comes from. So for you to feed Mia all of this information, tell her about how Wendy, you have beef with Wendy or whatever, and then allow Mia to go on this rampage and then attack Wendy. Like, you are so foul for this. No wonder they call you Patricia. No wonder they call you Patricia. You should get a pitch or whatever it is that they give in Potomac. They need to do something. Otherwise, they're going to lose a lot of viewers and subsequently cancel the show.